What's going on, Infected? Wolf here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a game that's going to be coming to Kickstarter by the name of Goblin Grapple. Now, Goblin Grapple is very reminiscent of a game that I used to play when I was younger, and you probably did too, by the name of War, which isn't really much of a game. It's where each player has part of the deck, you're flipping over cards, you're really just hoping you get the highest card. It's all chance, there's not really a game involved. Now, where this sets itself apart is you have a hand of cards. So now you get to decide what cards you're going to be placing down in what order. So it's a lot more important. There's a couple extra little rules, and a few of the people or the cards have special abilities. So let's just go and check out how it plays. Alright, before I get started, I just need to state, as usual, everything you see here is a Kickstarter prototype of the game, so it is, of course, subject to change. So to set up and play a game of Goblin Grapple is ridiculously simple. You're just going to shuffle this deck, give each player 5 cards, and boom, you're good to go. Now, on your turn, you're going to first and foremost draw a card. Then, you're going to do one of 3 different things. You're going to play as many cards into your army face down. So in this case, maybe I'll do a Goblin King, and then maybe a Goblin Knight, and maybe another Goblin Knight. Then, the other thing you can do is you can play any number of cards face up in your field to attack your opponent's army, but in this case, I went first, the opponent doesn't have an army. Or you can discard a Goblin Spy to be able to look at another player's hand and then swap a card from their hand. So it gives you some inside information, maybe lets you take a key card. So in this case, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and right now pass my turn. Now my opponent's going to do the same thing. Let's say maybe they also put down a Goblin King and they do this. So we're going to leave it at this just so I can show you how battle works in this. So let's say my opponent, because I have an army, my opponent is going to go ahead and play a Goblin Mage. Now the numbers in the corner of the card, that's their strength and or defense. So in this case, I would flip over my top card of my army. It is now a tie. So what's going to happen is the attacker gets to decide if they want to press this attack. If they don't, the defender would win, and I would also gain 6 points because you gain this many points. So in this case, let's say they do decide to press the attack. They're going to drop another card from their hand, and I do the same thing, flip this over, boom, another 3, so it's another tie. So let's just say you have the Goblin Assassin, which is a special card. They're going to play this. I flip over my last card, it's now the Goblin King. I have an 8, they have a 2, but the Goblin Assassin says it always defeats the king. So in this situation, my opponent is going to win and they're going to get all of these points. However, you can also play cards like the Goblin Defender. So maybe I swap this card out and put it back into my hand, and haha, you only got 1 point from that instead. But they're still going to get all of these points. Now all the cards that they get here, these are all going to go into their garrison. And then you're going to continue to do the exact same thing until one player gets 21 points. Once you get 21 points, all your cards are going to be discarded. All players get all of the points that are in their garrison, and you're going to write down on a piece of paper, and the first person to 100 points is declared the winner. Alright, Goblin Grapple. Well, Goblin Grapple is an interesting game to me because, for example, I hate war. I cannot stand that. It's not even a game, it's a time waster. It's an activity, and a boring one at that. Whereas this, very similar to war, but with the exception of, you have that hand of cards, so you are making decisions. Problem is, there's not a lot of decisions that you can make, because there's only 6 different types of cards. There's 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. That's it. And 0s, 1s, and 2s are the only ones with any abilities, and the 0s, it's not even an ability that is great. Like, it can be, because you discard it, you get to look at your opponent's card and swap a card with them, and ha 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 ha, maybe probably just take their assassin away is really all you're probably going to do. Either their assassin or their, the Goblin Defender. Other than that, every game pretty much boils down to the same, and it very much still feels kind of like war. Whereas, at least with war, again, it's an activity, it's not a game, but at least with war, you have 1 through 10, and then Jack, Queen, King, Ace. So there's more variety, and I feel that that's probably the biggest detriment to this game is there's not enough variety. There's not enough mystery there. So the core concepts are really cool because, again, it's taking war and just improving on that aspect of war, giving you a decision. So making war a game. But you don't have, there's not that level of, oh, I don't know if I want to attack this. This is a mid-range card. Is it really going to get it? Most of the cards are a 3. That's it. And then on top of that, kind of a weird design choice, there's 3 mages and 3 knights, I think they're called. They do exactly the same. They have different names, different artwork. They don't have any special abilities, and they're both number 3. And I thought that was just kind of odd. I feel that there should be more cards with abilities. Make the cards do things special, or add more numbers to it and give more of that air of mystery, and I think that would very much improve the game. Now, with that said, I'm not saying it's a bad game. Not saying it's a good game either, but it's not a bad game. For a quick little filler game, I mean, I own worse. So at least this one, it's functional. You know, it's super simple. You can sit down, have a few drinks, have some laughs, and just throw down some cards. Basically, if you're the type of person who plays war, you're gonna like this game because it's just war with some decision making. That's really all it is. Now, unfortunately, the biggest flaw with the game is, like I said, the lack of variety and the lack of numerical choices, essentially. So yeah, overall, unfortunately, I cannot recommend Goblin Grapple. Mainly because, again, I don't like war. If you're the type of person who, you know, if you're a student, you're in high school or maybe college, during lunch break, you break out a deck of cards, play war, you might enjoy this because it literally just improves on war, and that's it. Not a whole lot, but it does improve on it. So if you're that person, then, you know, this might be the game for you. But unfortunately, you know, the biggest nail in the coffin is just the lack of variety. You know, at least war, you have 52 cards. Each card only has 4 numbers, 1 of each suit. So there's a lot more going on with, you know, a deck of standard playing cards versus this. And really the biggest moment in the game is when somebody flips over a king and you happen to have played an assassin because they fell right into your hand, and that's really the biggest thing that actually really happens in the game. But then usually what happens is if somebody places a king, they're usually holding on to a defender or 2, so they go and put down a 1, and that's it. That's really the most thrilling part of the game. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's a light filler game. I don't expect, you know, a deep strategic game. It's not very exciting. Anyways, that is my review for Goblin Grapple. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time in the Quarantine.